Oh, hello there everyone, and welcome to Break Knyte Props. And on this one, I'm going to do a little show and tell of Lucille. The bat, famously known as Lucille from The Walking Dead, Negan's bat, his pride and joy that he uses is to smash people's heads. And before you say that, oh, this guy just bought a wooden bat and just put some barbed wire around it, that is actually not the case. A lot more effort went into making this than you would think. Granted, it did just take me a single evening just to pretty much finish it up non-stop from beginning to end. It did take a little bit of a little while and then a lot of effort. So let me describe it to you. Let's get a little bit closer. All right, now let's describe Lucille. Let's kind of go a little bit more in depth. Now, I did make this out of a black wiffle ball bat, so everything is completely painted over. And you can actually, if you can see closely, there are some scratches in there, and that's mainly from the barbed wire. So first off, I went over the entire thing with some Mod Podge. Take a big brush, go over the entire thing, and just get it over and done with. But get it over with the Mod Podge. It dries fairly quickly. And then I'll mix myself a good mixture of some, like a decent brown. And I did get some decent brown in there, but I definitely didn't want it to be too light and look too perfect. Of course, I wanted to look flawed. This is a bat that Negan has used to smash people's heads in, so it has to have some type of dirtiness to it, some flaws to it, especially. There was some little things I was really happy about. The paint job I really dug as I first started. Honestly, the finishing product I think came out a little bit darker than I wanted. The certain things that I added to the bat before we get to the barbed wire, which I thought was kind of cool, is the little oval. I noticed that the actual bat in the show has this oval in this very specific spot. Now the bat that I got had an oval, I believe somewhere at the top here. You can see it's right up there. There's a little oval that it came with, and I didn't like that oval. I didn't want that oval. I wanted to cover it best I can because I wanted the oval from the show. So what I did was just use my my laptop to make a nice stencil that I can use to make this perfect oval here that I can do perfectly with these. Oh, there it is. I have this black paint pen that I use to do just certain black details that I don't feel just opening a jar of paint is necessary for. And that's what I use this for. And then right after that, I use some sandpaper to kind of go over it and make it look a little bit messed up and flawed. And after I did the full paint job and just multiple coats of different types of brown, so it's not just one mixture of brown on this whole bat, it's multiple types of brown that did go all over this bat. And I finally got a decent color. I decided to weather it. So I weathered the entire bat, which weathering is just taking like a good mixtures of black and brown or whatever the case. Really, I just need some wet black. So use some water and some black paint and a little bit of darker brown paint to go over the entire bat to get into these little creases here. And that's why you can see that detail so much better than it just being just a plain brown bat. And this bat is pretty sturdy, honestly. Like, I feel like I could smash somebody's brains in with this thing, and they probably won't kill them, but it'll sure as hell hurt like hell. But so now I'm gonna get to the barbed wire. The barbed wire I think is really cool. Honestly, being my first attempt at making something like this, I wish I went a different way with how I made the little spikes, because these were a little hard to work with and a little bit of pain to make. But I handmade this barbed wire. And after looking at images of the barbed wire that's on the actual prop bat in the show, I realized that, oh, it's just little pieces of wire twisted to be this sharp. So really, I just took some of this wire that I have here and just made the long strand and then curled these up, cut little pieces, a crap load of little pieces like this, curled them up every few inches and did it that way and put them around. The way that I placed them, and if you can look closely, you see that it's not perfect. I use hot glue. I used hot glue to hold it in place because I wasn't sure what to do. I realized way after that I should have just used a soldering iron which I actually have. I have a carving tool that I can use as a soldering iron to just put a little bit melted steel just to hold these in place. But instead I went with the hot glue because that was my default. This is a piece for me. This is for me to hold on to. I just wanted to try and make it. I've seen the bat on the shelf multiple times, and I think it'd be cool to make a Lucille, Negan's bat, out of that, and that's what I did. And then I wrapped it tight best I can. I drilled some holes into certain points so it's stuck in there. So I drilled a hole up there. Actually, no, I drilled a hole and then it made it look like there was a staple there. So it got hit with a staple, a really strong staple, and there's a hole there that I drilled into, and that was my starting point to wrap over the top, because I noticed that there's this one little strand over the top. But and then just wrapped it around, and I think I even made some just extra wire without the little barbs in there, or whatever you call it, and just so it looked like there was more wire on it. And looking at this and looking at the one in the show, I'd say it's pretty damn close, honestly. So I really dig it. So that's up close and personal with Lucille. So there it is. Lucille, my own little plastic wiffle ball Lucille bat. I'm pretty happy with how she came out. I'm referring to her as a she. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. It was a fun little project to do. You know, it took me just about an evening. It's very easy to do. Thing is, I screwed up my fingers, or just scratched the hell out of my hands, messing up my fingerprints. So getting on my iPhone is pretty tough. You know, a lot of effort went into this, especially with the barbs and the wire and all that stuff. That making all that from scratch was probably the toughest part of this. But other than that, everything else was a breeze. Painting something this big, especially something that is supposed to be pretty weathered and damaged, is very fun to me. So I really enjoyed that. And putting it together and knowing that I have my own Lucille, I can go get myself a wig and dress up as Negan for Halloween and have this, and I'll be just fine because now I have one. The bat itself only costs about $5-6, and then the wire itself maybe costs about $1 or $2. So I have my own Negan replica, and even after buying the paint, this probably is way less than 15 bucks. Just buying all the materials you need. Most of the materials I already have. So money is not really an issue when it comes to this. It's just a matter of your time. So if you wanted to make your own Negan bat, hell, you can probably get a very small bat and make your own Negan bat for your kids if you want to do some cute photo shoots and make them Negan for Halloween. So yeah, that is Lucille. I want to thank you for joining me at Break Knyte Props. I am Craven Knight, and I have so many things to plug, but you know what? That's all going to be in the description down below. But I have to plug the podcast, the Break Knyte podcast that my buddy and I, Sean Iredale of Amberland Studios, where we talk things, pretty much all creativity, most part, but we talk about the stuff that inspires us to be creative. That is comic books, movies, TV shows, toys, collectibles, all the stuff like that. And then we talk about this, and then we talk about our creativity. Him being a comic book artist, me being the guy that is dabbling in the world of prop making. But we're both very creative guys, and we love our craft, and we love talking about it with each other and other people. So the podcast is on YouTube as well. If you want to listen to the whole thing on YouTube, you can, but it's also on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and all that. So go check it out. Subscribe, like, review, rate, all that stuff. That's the only way other people get to see it. Leave a comment if you like this, like the page, or like the video if you did like the video, and subscribe, and stay tuned. And also hit that little bell that's there too if you want to see when I'm going to post up. I'm not going to bore you any longer, so yeah, I'm gonna shut this shit down.